I'm doing a quick little, thing here, doing more of a testing. But since I got the microphone and I have things that I like to say, I'm 32 years old, going to be 33 shortly here. I'm in my 30s. I feel young. I don't know if I'm in my prime, but I don't feel like I'm on my downfall yet. I haven't gone downhill. And that's good. The average lifespan for a human being is 76 years old. 76 years old. So that means I'm 33, 76. I got 44 more years. I have not passed that midway mark. So when I get to be 37 years old, which would be 4 years, my half of my life is gone. Half of my life is gone. And I really enjoy Bill Burr, and there's so many different experiences I have gone through. It has been a fucking rough journey out here. It has been so fucking rough. There's just for I was valedictorian of Gallup County in the class of 2000, and I think that was all wrong. It was all wrong because the things that they taught me were all wrong. I'm getting my ass kicked back at the house, and meanwhile the teachers are saying do this, do that, or they're going to punish me. They didn't give a shit about me. They didn't increase solidarity amongst us, as with my peers. So there's no networks, and then the so-called knowledge that I learned, it hasn't helped. It hasn't gone to farther and better and bigger places. The only thing that they taught was obedience to authority, obedience to arbitrary and absolute authority. No democracy, no democratic processes. The knowledge I fucking forgot immediately. The only thing I remember is the disrespect, the shittiness that they fucking taught, that they did with me, okay? So, let's see, I could go down the Mary Beth Flynn. So I'm sitting there in class, and it's a boring ass class, and we had Josh Dickerson was in this class too. So the counselors told him to get an AP class, and then he wasn't able to walk with us in graduation. He's not mad about it. He seems like he doesn't even really care about it. So good, he found himself a place in life. But the injustice of that, the injustice of it, the fact that they told him to go into an AP class, and he passed. He got a C or something. So, and I was frustrated with it because I did a report, and then time limit was over, and then anyway, she was the first person that gave me a B. I'd fall asleep in class. She'd send me to the office. She'd give all these boring ass lectures. She told us that the freedom of speech was not the First Amendment. What's the First Amendment, class? Freedom of speech. No. Yeah, it is. I got a book out, pointed to her, and said, here it is. And then I remember some other classmates, Whitney LeGrand, she was like, oh, he thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's so smart, right? So all I see is a plantation. I see a plantation. I see the massa in the front of the classroom, the dictator, the autocratic dictator. And I see 30 students. There's only about 10 in this AP class. And whenever I say, hey, teacher, I think something differently than you, then they say, well, classroom management, fuck you, eyes rolled, you're stupid. And she just shrugged her shoulders. I actually taught her something. I taught her that the First Amendment was the freedom of speech. She didn't fucking know that shit. She's sitting there telling us lies, right? So she's a dictator, and she's dictating lies to us. Fast forward to just maybe 5 months ago, I'm in Julie Chancellor's class as a student teacher. It was supposed to be co-teaching. It was supposed to be equals, and there's no hierarchy. That's what the orientation says. She didn't go to the orientation. She didn't return my phone calls. And when I get to class, she's like, do this, do that. And then when I would do the thing, oh, that's all wrong. So it was all hierarchy. It was all hierarchy the entire time. And it was total bullshit, and it wasn't fair. And after the 3 days, she calls my school, and she says, hey, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And they just agreed with her. They just believed her willy-nilly. So what the fuck? You got white women who are privileged, white women. Anytime I ask my classmates, hey, how y'all been? They'll say, oh, how are your sisters? Well, that was the same shit the boys were saying, right? How's your sisters? So you got the entire fucking world, going to bat for them. And when it comes to me, it's like, fuck you. Who gives a fuck what the fuck you say? So what happened is I'm a valedictorian of Gallup County. It was the only thing that I feel like I learned from being valedictorian was I was the most obedient bitch, nigger, slave in the class. I would do as I was told. You know, when I have the difference between getting my ass kicked at the house or, you know, listening to some teachers tell me to do some math problems, the math problems was so much fucking better. You don't want me to go out here in the fucking hot sun and cut this damn tobacco. You don't want me to get all that nicotine poisoning. You don't want me to do any of that stuff. You just want me to do, okay, good, I'll do that. I'd rather do that. I would do extracurricular activities. I'd do anything and everything to make sure I didn't have to go back to that house. And so valedictorian to me, all that taught me is, one, I was the most obedient piece of shit, right, in the class. They had a senior skip day. What Sharon Parker said she'd give 10 extra bonus points if you stayed. Well, fuck, I stayed, right? So I was the only one in the class. I think there was another person that was there. Everybody else was gone. And I was the only one in the class. And no, we didn't have any heart-to-heart talk. I didn't get to know her better. I didn't get to, you know, there was no benefits to it whatsoever. If you would have asked me what I would rather have done, I would rather have had friends. I would rather have had knowledge that could have helped me in life. Instead, shut up, sit down, do these damn math problems. If I was advised properly, I could have been an engineer, could have been a scientist, could have been a lawyer. And I guess I could still do those things. I have a tremendous amount of student loan debt, so I don't know if I would even be able to get into those schools at this point, but I would be kick-ass at really any industry that I do if it was a meritocracy. But it's not a meritocracy. It's about the networks. It's about the people that you know. So the other thing is, not only did it make me the most obedient person in the class, which is the worst lesson for a man. You know, as a woman, you can, you know, kiss your man's ass and he'll give you a house and land and everything else. That's not in the cards for me. If I was to kiss, you know, that really I'm going to, even her ass, I'm going to be kissing her ass, right? So there's not a rich woman that's going to take care of my ass just because she wants to, you know, there might be, but let's be serious, right? And so all my problems stem from me listening to motherfuckers that don't really give a shit about me. So people who don't give a shit about me do this, and then once they got that compliance, they say, well, hell, all I have to do is, you know, be shitty to him, and he'll do what the hell I told him to do. So blind obedience to arbitrary and absolute authority has caused all my problems in my entire life. And so I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. Equality means, you know, that you're a person, I'm a person. The difference, I believe, is, you know, I think I love people because they exist. You got consciousness, you exist on this planet. That's amazing. With the fact that we can think, the fact that we can look out and breathe oxygen, that's amazing, that's awesome. But I feel like I'm the only person out here that's like this. The other part of the valedictorian thing was not only did it make me the most, you know, biggest bitch in the entire fucking world, and that's okay, right? You can be a bitch, but if you say that she's a bitch, then you're the one that's in the wrong. But a bitch is just a female asshole, right? You're an asshole and you're a female, so you're a bitch. So there's a sexist connotation to bitch, so I'm going to throw that out. You're an asshole, right? But anyways, I mean, me being a bitch-ass nigger slave to a bitch is acceptable. Who the fuck wants to be a bitch to a bitch? And so my point is, it doesn't help you in life. You do as you're told. You do what they say. And all they do is they just hate you because they've been able to get you to comply. And Frederick Douglass says, until a person shows some authority for themselves, until they show some type of you know, power for themselves, people will just walk over them till the day that they die. And that comes from Frederick Douglass when he kicked Edward Covey's ass. So the slave breaker, the Negro slave breaker, was sitting there trying to beat the shit out of Frederick Douglass, and then he fights him. He's like, fuck this, I'm going to fight you back. And then eventually, you know, he backs off. He wins the fight, and the strike breaker just doesn't fuck with him anymore. So that taught him, if he did not stand up for himself, he would just continue to get flogged and beat up. The strike breaker, the Negro breaker, would have just kept on doing the shit that he was doing because, hey, he broke that wild African slave. He broke him. And that's what, you know, that's the point, is to break the American students. That's the point. My other point that I want to mention, excuse me, is that the valedictorian thing, in order to get me to continue to do these good grades and to listen to my massa, they would give me these awards, put me on the honor roll, and they would, you know, give me all these sort of celebrations, and they would say, hey, look how great, you know, Jonathan Masters is doing, right? Johnny Masters is kicking ass. And all that did was for my classmates. Not only did I not get any good relationships from my classmates, but they resented me. They hated me. They hated the fact that I was doing well and that it looked like I was going to succeed in shit, and I was voted most likely to succeed. So my classmates were actually voting in congruence with what they thought was supposed to be the right thing. So I was doing what my classmates was saying, what my parents, what the teachers, I was doing what everybody thought that you were supposed to be doing. But I wasn't showing power for myself. I wasn't going out and grabbing life. In order, real men, Malcolm X says, if you're a real man, you go out and you get freedom. You take it. That is not the lessons at all that the American school system taught me. It was shut up, sit down, do your damn work, you piece of shit. And so that's the two things. The two things was that I'm obedient. I'm most obedient in the entire school. And then the other thing was just a bunch of resentment because, oh, you think you're so damn smart? Oh, you think you're going to do well in life? Well, fuck you. And that sucks. That sucks. I don't go around flaunting. Yeah, I did well in school. Yeah, I do feel smart, so good. I feel like I'm capable and I got a head on my shoulders. So, all those things are good. But with the terms of reputation, which your reputation is more important than who you are when it comes to society, because society only knows your reputation. They don't know who you actually are unless they get to know you or try to get to know you. So the two biggest lessons that I got from being valedictorian of a high school in Kentucky was a bunch of resentment and jealousy and blowback from a bunch of jealous, dumb fucking assholes. People that didn't know shit, that didn't know how to do shit, that sucked, couldn't even do fucking math problems and shit. And I'm talking shit now because I'm resentful of them now, fucking bastards. But the way I am is that I never felt that there was anything inherently smarter about me. I had felt if anybody else would have put the time that I put into the math or the time that I put into the science, they would have learned their lessons. Jason White, he wouldn't have graduated if it wasn't for me. He would be getting answers from me all the fucking time. And did I gain anything from that? No. During basketball games, he said he got all the pussy. He got all the ass. And what the fuck do you get? Hopefully that all this fucking bullshit will get me to some fucking place, but really I've done a 180, an absolute 180. The fact that I want to be that wild fucking African from Africa, and I don't want to be broken no more. I don't want to be broken anymore. And since the fact that I don't believe I'm actually smarter, Brandy Frisbee thinks that there's only some people that can learn shit and other people cannot. I'm not like that. I believe that everybody is capable of all the things that I was able to achieve. And so I have a universal philosophy. I am you, you are me. We're all part of this, this dance of life. And it hasn't gotten me anywhere. And so it's really frustrating. I'm not going to give up my principles. I'm not going to give up my manhood. I'm not going to give up my ideals. I just got to keep trucking on. But when it comes to, being out here in the United States, men are absolute psychopaths. They're violent. They're stupid. They laugh at each other. They're shitty to you. And so I've already given up on men. With women, it's been very disappointing because they were supposed to be the nicer sex, but they're not nicer. If you're not sitting there saying, hey, bitch, do this. Shut up, bitch. I'm going to command you and dictate to you. They'll think that you're the slave because they only see oppressors and the oppressed. They don't see equality. And so with my equality, yeah, I love your consciousness, but what does equality look like? Well, it means building culture. It means, telling stories, telling jokes, doing artwork. Hey, you like this artwork? Wow, that's pretty neat. Here's some things that I do. Here's some music that I made. Here's some music I made. Wow, that's neat, right? Build culture, build relationships, get money, right? Get good jobs, network. Basically my struggles in life has shown me that the most important things out here are the things that the Maslow's hierarchy, the bottom rung of Maslow's hierarchy: food, water, clothing, warmth, shelter. Those are the most important things. So if you got a family and you got water and you got housing and you got and your freedom. Freedom also is a big thing. Maslow's hierarchy says love and belonging and self-esteem. So if you have all those things, then you're doing okay. You're fine. No harm done, no foul. Good for you. You're gonna you're going to be all right. If you don't have those things, then that shit's criminal. We're the richest country in the world, and yet we got homeless people. And the fact that we got homeless people and we got poor people just says to me that people it's a psychopathic culture. It's fascist totalitarianism. They listen to their masses. They listen to their bosses. And the oppressors always destroy relationships. You know, it's like when you have a girlfriend, she goes to work, she'll fucking do all the shit that her boss tells you what to do, and then come home and then be shitty to you. And so, you know, good women, you know, you've switched the roles around. I'm the one that's going to have to, I guess, I don't know. I guess it just has to be my sexiness and maybe